principles and objectives of the party are to bring about necessary changes for fair and equal treatment of all Australians within a system of government recognising and acting upon a need for Australia to be truly part of the Commonwealth under Almighty God through Her Majesty's heirs and successors. Okay, now that binds in the Crown, of course.
Absolutely.
Very important.
The true crown, yes.
The true Crown, nothing to do with the big carriage with the gold and all that stuff.
No.
Okay. To protect our sovereignty and democracy by adhering to the Commonwealth Constitution Act 1900. That's something that the One Nation did not have anything in there to do with.
No, surprise, surprise.
To acknowledge and respect the Aboriginal Torres Strait Islanders as people of this land under the Constitution of the Commonwealth in equity. In equity, which means they're equal to everyone else here, not above. We can't discriminate, so we just remove any reference to them with respect to the prior discrimination. So we support people-initiated referenda, giving the people of Australia a voice to oppose or call for laws to be implemented and enforced.
Absolutely.
So our children are the future leaders of our nation. They must be given every opportunity to an education. Our children must have an equal opportunity at all levels of education and must be taught our Commonwealth Constitution Act. To actively pursue and promote treaties in compliance with the Commonwealth Constitution, unlike some of the treaties that are existing at the moment.
Exactly.
With respect to investment, development is deemed appropriate and in the national interest, and repeal those that are not in our best interests, approved after parliamentary debate. To honour and respect the men and women who have suffered and served or lost their lives in defence and protection of our country.
Many who would be turning over in their graves right now at the mess we're in.
That's right. So we're going to uphold them. To ensure those convicted of crimes endure appropriate penalties according to the law. Okay, and that will bring in the jury trial. To seek treaties with other countries for those who are non-Australian citizens who have committed a criminal offence carrying a 1 year or longer prison sentence be deported to their country.
There's a great idea.
Reform Section 9.5 of the Commonwealth Director of Public Prosecutions Act, and once qualified, support private prosecutions against any person who is believed to have committed an offence punishable under Australian law. So that's it allows everybody to go in and prosecute accordingly. So that opens up Section 13 and 15F of the Crimes Act. To uphold existing inherited law allowing access to firearms, and to ensure our society remains benevolent and caring in its approach to our fellow citizens in genuine need. It's an Aussie trait anyway.
Absolutely.
To treat all Australians equally and justly and support all age pensioners as the pioneers of this country in need. So none of this ridiculous pension level that's at the moment. It's just bizarre that people are expected to step down from a full wage in whatever career they'd chosen and then step into poverty. To support and advocate traditional family values and uphold the institution of the family in its fight against the many who aim to break down this important unit of any decent society. Zero tolerance to bullying. So this brings in a total revamp of the family law court. Okay, so there'll be a jury installed into that court if the people really want it. But that's, again, it'll come back to parliamentary debate. To restrict immigration at times when necessary as implemented by the Parliament. And, of course, the Parliament's going to rely heavily on the people to feed back to it. To stop sovereign ownership of Australia's freehold, agriculture, resources and mining leases land. Stop fracking on Australian land. To restore tariff protection. Okay, this is going to... So we're going to basically... we're going to really go against the current trend. But we're going to be there with Mr. Trump, President Trump. with respect to protecting Australia's borders relating to our manufacturing base, and especially R&D. The research and development is something that's been lacking dearly in this country for too many years. We've got the intellect base. We just need to take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
Put it back on its plate. So national manufacturing, and initiate financial support for small business and the rural sector, in particular in the interest of creating national wealth and employment. So complete overhaul of the transport industries and state law penalties implied to professional drivers, including permits. To take positive action on matters such as taxation reform, total taxation reform.
Yeah, exactly.
Education, health, unemployment, crime and the environment. Eradicate Australia and create co-ops and in industry in agriculture. Irrigate Australia. So this comes into Section 100 of the Constitution, which is being abused by the states. People are suffering. Farmers are suffering.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they've been forced to take on these water meters on their dams.
Yeah, that's insane, isn't it?
It's bizarre. It's a direct breach of Section 100. To re-establish a public-owned rural people's bank. Dun, dun. To abolish divisive and discriminatory policies such as those related to Aboriginal and multicultural affairs, which is what I touched on earlier. To promote religious education based on facts.
Oi!
Whoa!
There's a
hang on.
Crazy concept.
Oh, gee, there you go. Most of the religions will just go straight out the door.
Exactly.
To oppose any religious law that opposes common sense and the will of the people. Well, there goes Islam.
Bye-bye.
To promote clear and concise legislation around people being able to access any form of benefit without conforming to any civil conscription. So that's Section 23A, 5123A.
Yeah, wow.
To promote a clear and concise food labelling system.
Yeah, another important one. Absolutely.
Okay, very important. So that way we can make a choice. You know, it opens that whole gambit up. So we oppose any form of civil conscription for the purpose of accessing the age pension. We oppose any privatisation of public assets.
Yay.
Okay, and this comes in under two laws of England, which we inherited, which is the Public Officers Act and the Sale of Public Officers Act. So we're committed to promote the protection of the farming sector in tough times. This is the richest continent on the face of the planet. Okay, so our national estate will pay for all of this and more and more and more and more. All right?
Don't mind them. They're being silly. Keep going.
We'll promote the review of the current taxation system. We'll support the reform of the family court, which I sort of touched on earlier, in alignment with mediation between conflicted parties. So we bring about a mediation forum, according to the proper principles of contract in marriage, according to the Commonwealth Constitution. And it's, as we've touched on this in this show before, under Quick and Garant, it's a contract. So we've got to look at it that way. To promote the election to public office of members committed to the objectives of the party and the law of the land.
That's it.
The party is confident the objectives set out are achievable aims and objectives of the party. Okay, in the event of any of the objectives mentioned are achieved in the future, in whole or in part, then the National Executive, in conjunction with the State Executive, shall be authorised and empowered by this Constitution to delete herefrom or amend any such objectives of the party without the requirement to amend the Constitution. So it's basically, it's all, it's common sense stuff.
Ever noticed that common sense ain't all that common?
Well, we're inviting it back in.
Absolutely.
And saying, hang on, we've got a little chair for you. You can sit down there, make yourself comfortable.
Just oversee what we're doing, every aspect of it.
Yeah, but it's
Brilliant.
basically what we're really trying to encourage is we want the people to wake up to the law. Principal law, of course, is the Constitution, and start waking up to the power of the ability to prosecute.
Yep.
Don't be afraid of the courts. The courts will be, of course, the whole new system of courts.
Yeah, exactly. Actual courts of law, as opposed to corporate courts.
You know, forget about this current system of courts. They have clearly got dirty hands.
Yep.
There's so much evidence of that. So it's all based on the jury system.
Yeah.
Grand juries especially. But of course, private prosecution will mean we'll have to set up a proper education system for those who want to walk that path. In fact, I think it should be part of the education of our children, so we can show them as part of that Constitution, because you show them the foundation law, of course, then they've got to learn the rest.
Yeah.
And you don't need lawyers. I think will be a thing of the past.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
God, let's hope so.
Yeah, eventually, after 10, 20 years, lawyers will be essentially.
Well, there'll be no need for them because the laws will be simple, clear.
Yeah.
They won't be as deliberately complex as they are now. So anyone will be able to go and research it. Hopefully they will have been taught it in school so they'll already understand the basics. Anything more than that they need to understand, they can go and learn very, very quickly. And the courts will be places that will assist people in understanding and exercising the law, rather than trying to, be the gatekeepers and keep people out who, haven't brought one of their high-paid muppets in to help them.
Yeah, and we're going to get rid of the cash register.
Yeah, exactly.
That horrible registrar in Victoria will be bye-bye to Business Unit 19 on your bike.
Yep.
So, big changes, but...
huge changes, huge changes. That's what's needed. I mean, we need a massive shake-up in this country. Things have gotten so bad, and they're getting worse on a daily basis. We touched on just briefly before things like these, new changes to the treason laws, where now you can't challenge the government, and anti-protest laws, and all this sort of stuff. It's just deliberately and blatantly flying completely in the face of the Constitution. They just don't even care anymore. As long as they can, do their last big grab for cash and golden parachute before they, get kicked out the door, they just don't care. And this is why we so desperately need a massive shake-up exactly like this. So,
well, all the roads have been leading to what's happening right now.
Oh, of course.
So we're just going to ask questions of these people with respect to the current situation.
Yeah. And
they will have no choice but to put themselves into trouble through their answers.
Yeah.
And because it's coming out of their own mouths.
The point is, as we found out talking to one of our members today, what happens when they refuse to answer? Unless you've got the guns, you can't hold one to their head and make them answer.
Oh, on the floor of Parliament, yes.
Yeah.
You can. Yeah. It's through the subpoena action and the discovery. They have no choice.
Yeah. All good stuff. So hopefully everyone is as excited as we are.